Kevin Danso has highlighted what's changed since the arrival of Igor Tudor. Tottenham Hotspur are once again interested in forward Jonathan David. Igor Tudor has stated that mental sharpness has improved in the squad, and Solanke and Spence have been called up to the England squad. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Lee and I'm here today to do the daily Tottenham news headlines, where I'll be discussing all the rumours and reports that are making the headlines today. Please do feel free to hit the subscribe button, like, comment and so on and so forth. These episodes are all available on all major audio platforms, so please do feel free to listen in on those if you prefer. So getting straight into it, the first report we've got today is about Kevin Danso. So Kevin Danso has said that it feels good. You know, I think we've got the end of the season coming up and it's time for us to show the fight and the spirit. We have to be a team and get results on the board. I think the mindset is different. We realise what position we're in and we realise how it can affect a lot of people and not just us players. And I think we know where a club like Spurs deserve to be. It's our job to get Spurs back to where it should be, and started 2 weeks ago where everybody was like, lads, we need to knuckle down and give everything we've got. And I feel like that's exactly what we've done in the last two games. I want that to continue. The Football Insider claims that Tottenham are once again showing interest in Juventus forward Jonathan David as they hunt for an attacking reinforcements. David, 26, scored 109 goals in 232 games for French side Lille before joining Juventus last summer, but has netted just 7 times since arriving in Turin. David has started only 16 of Juventus' 29 Serie A matches so far this term. The report claims that Spurs are long-term admirers of the Canadian international and considered making a move for the player prior to his free transfer to Juve last year. Tottenham have retained interest in the forward and could make a move to sign him this summer amid ongoing uncertainty around his future in Turin. David's contract with the Serie A Giants is set to run until the end of 29-30 season, but it appears that he could leave the club prior to then if he continues to struggle to force his way into the starting lineup. Igor Tudor has said that there is no such thing as a 6-pointer, and he does not see the Nottingham Forest game as a cup final. There are lots of points to play for. Of course, it's important. It's an important game because we are together. So let's say not 6, but 4. It's not a final, maybe not 3 points, but 4-point a game. It's important, but it will not be decisive. Igor Tudor on what's improved since he replaced Thomas Frank. I would say the mental sharpness that has improved and got better. So that's what was the key. We are sleeping less on the pitch. That's the main thing. We react before something happens. So this thing for me is crucial. Now we react earlier to what happened in the pitch. We are not always like what happened and then we react after. Now we react before things happen. Not in the way I would like, but much better. This mental sharpness, awareness of dangerous situations, this is improvement, and that's why we are better. Dominic Solanke is back in the England squad where he joins Djed Spence for friendlies against Uruguay and Japan. The striker who won the Premier League's goal of the month in February with his audacious scorpion kick against City is back in the squad for the first time in a year. He was last named in March 2025. Dominic has 3 caps to his name and has last featured against the Republic of Ireland in November 2024. Meanwhile, Thomas Tuchel names the defender Djed Spence in his 4th consecutive squad. Capped 3 times, Djed has featured in a FIFA World Cup qualifier against Latvia in October. The Three Lions take on Uruguay on February the 27th of March and Japan on the 31st of March, with both games being at Wembley Stadium and both kicking off at 7:45 UK time. So, what's my view on these stories? Well, let's go through them one by one, shall we? So let's start off with the Kevin Danso scenario, talking about the players realising where they are and how difficult a situation they are in, and now wanting to do something about it. I like Kevin Danso. I think he's a decent player. I think he's got a lot about him. I don't think he's one of those players who you could call out for not really making the effort. I do think he has always put as much effort in as possible. As a bit part player, he's not played consistently week in, week out. But when he comes on, he does his job, he works hard and puts that effort in. And I think we can all appreciate that. But his words are very interesting in the fact that it's taken until now for them to decide that, yeah, they need to do something. And this is not just about them, it's about the fans and that as well. For me, I've been crying this out for a long time, is that players don't have to live the life that we live as a fan. They go out, they forget about it, they talk to their mates who play for different clubs, they all get on their FIFA or go to their clubs or restaurants, whatever they do, and they all just get on with each other. Whereas the rest of us are sat behind being the butt of all the jokes, getting bantered by friends and family and people in the pub and so on and so forth. And it's difficult, it can get very, very difficult. Football's a very, very emotional game, and we've all got our club at our heart. So for players to actually realise how damaging it is for the fans, it's about time. But this is about what you do on the pitch now. You can realise it as much as you like. You can say the right things and all that sort of stuff. But you've got to show it on the pitch. So I'm hoping that this last couple of games is not just a flash in the pan, and that the players really are recognising that it's down to them. No one else is going to change it. It's not up to the manager. It's what you do on the pitch that's going to count. The fans are well behind you. There's lots of stuff going on, certainly against Forest, to give the players the boost that the fans feel they need and that they've been asking for. But of course, that can quickly change if things don't go to plan. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, good to hear that it's finally filtering through to some of these players. It's about time, really. Jonathan David. Okay, listen. Jonathan David may be a great footballer. I'm not the best person to talk to about transfers and all that sort of stuff. However, my opinion is this, and it might be pie in the sky. I am a bit of a habit clubber, but for me, Tottenham Hotspur should be going out and getting the very best, the best of the best for every position that we can. If you're going to go out and get a forward, for me, there's only one forward in the world you need to be getting, and that's Harry Kane. Now, you're going to go, well, that's difficult. He ain't going to want to come back to Spurs and blah, blah, blah. Fine, I get all that. I'm not saying that it could happen, but what I'm saying is that's where we should be aiming. We should be going as a group to Bayern Munich, cap in hand, and saying to Harry Kane, listen, we messed up, Harry. We should have built around you. We should have followed your ambition. We should have done everything we could to really make this happen for you. Things are changing. Different board now. More commitment to the squad, more commitment to the club. We want to be where Man City are, where Arsenal are, where Chelsea have been, where Man United have been, and all that. We want that. You are the best in the world. You've won your medals with Bayern Munich. You may well go on and win the Champions League this season, fingers crossed. And then obviously you've got the World Cup in the summer. Hopefully you can win the Champions League, win the World Cup, come back to Tottenham, fulfil your legacy, break the Shearer Premier League record, and win the Premier League trophy with Tottenham and become that legend at Spurs that you deserve to be, not just a legend for scoring loads of goals. Let's get you a trophy there. That's my opinion. And listen, whatever Jonathan David's got going for him, if he's not breaking into the Juventus side, there's got to be a reason for around that. And I know sometimes you can pick up players like that and it all changes. Some players don't work at some clubs, and maybe he could come to Tottenham and be the best of the best. But for me, I want proven Premier League quality players that can really do the business and propel us to where we deserve to be, because we cannot continue in this downward spiral. Moving on to Tudor and his comments relating to Nottingham Forest. Yeah, I agree. It's not a 6-pointer. There's no such thing as a 6-pointer, really. But this will give us 4-point buffer, and he's absolutely right on that. And it's a must-win game. But it's not going to be decisive. If we don't win it, we don't win it. But we need to keep winning games, and we need to keep that distance between us and Forest. So win this game, you've got 4 points over them. That pushes them further down. It won't matter then what West Ham do. It keeps us ahead of someone who's going in the other direction. So absolutely, that is what I want. I want to see those 4 points. And like I've just said, the fans are doing everything they can to try to give the players the boost that they need to get that win. So again, mentality, it's up to them to really make that difference. And he says that himself in the next story. He's talking about mental sharpness improving and seeing things before they go wrong and putting them right before they go wrong. Early days for me, I haven't seen that right from the start. Obviously, difficult start against Arsenal and Fulham, where refereeing decisions went against us and so on. That's really tough to take. But let's see what this mentality change is like if we go 1-0 down to Nottingham Forest on Sunday. Will they step up and take it on board? We did see it against Atletico. Straight after their second goal, we went and scored again. We put the effort in and showed what we're made of. But that's the Champions League. We've got a great record in Europe. Premier League's different. At home's been terrible as well. So making it a fortress from the fans is one point of it. The players, giving them something to keep cheering about, is the next. So I'll reserve judgment on the mentality change until we actually see that mentality change on a consistent basis. But fingers crossed that that's going to happen. And finally, the story about Dominic Solanke going back into the England squad. Interesting one. With the amount of injuries he's had, I'm surprised that he's in there. But at the same time as that, it's good news for him if that's going to give him more time to improve his fitness and get more game time under his belt. But at the same time as that, my concern is that he's going to get injured again. And that's something we don't need, because he's been out for far too long. And I do think at his best, Dominic Solanke does bring something into the squad and a player that can change things. So fingers crossed, if he's going to be used, that he doesn't get injured. But if he's not going to get used, I'm okay with that, because that gives him a bit of a rest. But obviously knowing that he does need some game time at some point. But yeah, it'll be an interesting one. I'm not sure why Tuchel has picked him, but he's the manager, so let's see how that goes. He may well get some time, and they may well be resting players like Kane, because obviously they've still got some big stuff to play for and lots of games going on with Champions League and so on. And so maybe Tuchel is kind of taking this opportunity to have a tinker. Djed Spence gets back in as well. I think that's well deserved for Djed. I think he's been a decent player for the last couple of seasons. Not been absolutely fantastic this year. Last year he was better than he's been this year, but again, against Atletico, he showed what he can bring. That run back to make that last ditch tackle to stop Atletico getting a third goal and allowing us to win the game. Really showed a little bit of heart and a bit of passion. Be good for him to get that opportunity on the right hand side with England and show what he's got. So fair play to him. Really pleased for him to get in there. So anyway, listen, that's the stories for today. I really appreciate you watching. If you like the episode, please do give us a thumbs up. Comment if you disagree or agree with any of the comments I've made of my views. Be good to know how you're feeling about these stories. Subscribe to Chris's channel, of course. That really helps the channel grow, with lots of good people putting lots of good stuff out on the channel. You can listen to it on audio platforms, on all major audio platforms are out there. I know lots of people like to listen in the car and stuff like that, or when you're walking a dog. So again, if you prefer that, please do leave some comments and reviews on those kind of things. As I said at the beginning, I'm Lee the Dorset Spur. I do have my own channel. If you fancy coming over and seeing what I'm all about, please do feel free to do that. It'd be great to have you. And of course, it would be great to have those subscribers as well to help me grow my channel. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you on the next one. Up the Spurs.